A very good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Masquera say. And today is the day which Nelson Mandela passed away a few years ago. So let us take a look onto this report from Zimbabwe. They are saying on this day in 2013, former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, died at 95. On his 90th birthday in London, he said, "At home, we see the outbreak of violence against fellow Africans in our country and the tragic failure of leadership in our neighboring Zimbabwe." So, whatever which is happening, the pressures which are being put on other countries, on other nations, President Mandela attributed those pressures and those problems to the failed leadership in the nation of Zimbabwe. Indeed, the leadership of Zimbabwe failed to make sure that their own people benefit from national programs. For an example, if you look at the farm on the farms, or the redistribution of farms, it favored the people in top positions, the people in the military, the war veterans. Those are the people who were favored most by the issue of land reform program. And if you look at the issue of economic ownership, look at how the Chiadzwa diamonds were looted. Several companies were formed by the elites, and they made a stampede on the Chiadzwa diamonds, and they owned everything. They looted everything. Not to the benefit of ordinary Zimbabweans, but to their own benefit. Look at the economic fair which happened in the nation of Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe pulled out of Commonwealth. That was not for the benefit of Zimbabweans, but for the benefit of ZANU-PF propaganda and his own party, because he was no longer going to be held accountable by fellow nations. So you look at the decisions which are being made by ZANU-PF people. They are not pro people. They're self-centered decisions which are made, and they affect the ordinary citizens. So if you look at the influx of people who are leaving Zimbabwe to other countries, to Mozambique, to Zambia, to Malawi, to Botswana, and mostly to South Africa, you see that it's because of a failed economy. If you look at the people who are working in Mamapras in South Africa, who are working in areas like Venda, that is Limpopo province, those people, especially those who work kunana Makado, kunana Venda, they work in very small pieces of land. And the same people who are working on those small pieces of land, they can actually do it here back home. They can translate it on their own pieces of land back home. But because you go into farming, you do tobacco, you do cotton farming, you do whatever, the benefits are so slim. There are no benefits in terms of agriculture at a larger scale if you are not connected, or if you don't know how to market. You have to depend on GMB, on Coatco, on other, so that you get something. But those entities are not paying well, especially Coatco. Vanhu vakatopedzisira kutobhadharwa nemagroceries a few years ago. That is a sign of leadership. So I would want to see a situation where the land was fought for, and people now have the land, people get into farming, and after getting into farming, tinorima, tobva tawana donje redu, then we go to Coatco, we sell, and we have something to point at, to say, ndakaita 100 mabero. These are the results of 100 mabero. Not kuti ndakaita 100 mabero, ndonzi yautore fertilizer, yautore mabhasikoro, yautore chakati, yautore magroceries. That is not what we want. And that is a sign of leadership failure. And at this moment, we expect to see ZANU-PF people moving from failure to success. That is what we wish. We wish to see Zimbabwe functioning. We wish to see Zimbabwe running smoothly. We wish to see Zimbabwe without load shedding, because we have the best sun in the world. But you'd see that load shedding is affecting us each and every time. And the question is, why are we not harnessing solar energy? That question can't be answered. If you go on to the regions 4 and 5, you can put my wind turbines there for electricity generation. Those areas are not utilized fully. And the question is, where is the government going? And why is it that the government is failing to make sure that they make use of all those avenues to empower the people of Zimbabwe. It's a matter of leadership failure, and we really need a leadership who is going to transform the economy of Zimbabwe. So, as people remember the death of Mandela, we remember what he said, and according to what Zimlife said here, it's a very important issue raised here, something which we cannot totally ignore. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. I don't know, guys, what you think about these issues, but I believe that as a nation, as a country, we need to do something. We need to agree that indeed there is leadership failure. Let us correct that and make sure that Zimbabwe arises again.